In this video, we're going to go over how to align and edit our paper bills and the layouts for those paper bills. To get started, we'll go ahead and open our billing section. And here we can see we have a CMS 1500 general form type, common alternates, common, CMS 1500 Medicare common. There are a lot of different form types. We've got some HCFA reds in here, general billing forms. We're going to focus on the CMS 1500 general for now. This is your standard CMS 1500 form layout. If I do a quick preview, we can see all the information that might go onto a CMS 1500, of course without all the red letters, boxes, and layout. This is where you'll put your paper into the printer, run this report, and this will all get put into the correct place. Now, sometimes different printers, printer drivers, and what have you, will cause the alignment to be skewed from computer to computer. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can make sure that the alignment is as perfect as possible. You're going to want to print out a couple test copies first. You don't want to do a whole huge batch, find out your bills are misaligned, and then have to start doing the alignment. So let's say we print out a test claim, and it's way too far to the right. We've got to move the whole thing over to the left. We can do that by going down here to the Align button, giving it a click, and this little mini window will pop open. Here we see the representation of our HCFA form, along with options to change the alignment for certain sections. Let's break down the sections of the HCFA form real quick, as it is in TPS. Here in this header section, we have the HCFA patient information. That's pretty much everything from box 1 all the way down to box 23, before the service line starts. Here we have the detail section, which as it states, has the dates of service. This is your box 24 A through J. And then finally, we have the clinic detail billing information in the footer. Provider name, payment amounts, billing locations. Now, as I said before, the whole thing's too far to the right. Let's go ahead and shift the whole thing to the left by going to the top here. As you can see, we have arrows pointing left and right, with the right with the positive and the left with the negative. If I go down from 0, the theoretical neutral, my numbers start going negative. This indicates that the entire form is going to shift to the left. That includes the header, the detail, and the footer. If I needed to move it right, I would click it a couple numbers past 0, such as 0.5. I said we need to move it to the left, so we will. And I also noticed that the header was a little low, so I'll go ahead and move it up. The details were a little down, so I'll move that up as well. And the footer was a little too high, so I'll move it down. I can save my changes by clicking the Save Changes button, or cancel out by clicking Cancel. Newly aligned form has been saved, and I can go ahead and give it a preview. But unless I have really good eyes, I won't be able to tell until I print it out on a HCFA form. So go ahead and get that paper in there, give it a test, and then perform any fine-tuning if you need to. Now, let's say that there's only a particular box here and there that needs editing, like box 31's the only one that's a little too far left, a little too high, a little too low. We can make more specific changes by clicking the Edit Layout button here. Clicking Edit Layout, we're given the entire layout of the billing form, much like our reports. I can scroll down and see that my header stops here. And as we discussed, that includes all the basic patient information, carrier information, etc. Typically ending with 21 over here on the side and 23 down here. Further down, in this middle section, we have our services and dates of service and diagnosis pointers and provider MPIs. Down here we have the clinic information and whatnot. So, correlating to the basic HCFA form, I can pretty much assume that this is my box 25. And I need to move it and only it up a few notches because it's just printing out really funny. Like we discussed before, I'll go ahead and select that one box, move this over so you can see, and then with my arrow keys, shift it up a bit. I'll go ahead and move these two with it. If you needed to move something else, you could do so by clicking it. Remembering that you can click multiple things by pressing and holding down the Shift key and then clicking them. So while none of these are really close together, they're now all under my control at the same time. So if I were to use my arrow keys, they would all move at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and discard these changes for now. Now sometimes aligning forms isn't necessarily an issue, but rather the data that gets pulled there. We've done a pretty good job of creating various layouts that pull different kinds of data depending on certain carriers or situations. But we all know that the insurance industry is a moving target, so sometimes changes need to be made. For instance, sometimes a common request is to move the information from box 33 into box 32 where it wasn't before, or to simply just put new information into box 32. Let's go ahead and select our common, give it a preview, scroll down, and we can see that there is no information where 32 is going to be. We've got 33 there, and we're going to go ahead and use that to assist us by putting information over here on the left. Go to Edit Layout, scroll all the way down, and here we see our blank space. Now box 32 is typically address information and the name of facility where services might have taken place. Currently I have my business name and clinic address and city information over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all three of these boxes here, one at a time by clicking the first one, pressing and holding Shift down to select all of them at once. Now that I have them all selected, I'm going to go ahead and Control C to copy them, and then Control V to paste. Now, what I pasted is automatically selected, so I can simply use my arrow keys to move them all the way over here to the left. And that's a little slow, so you want to click and drag with your mouse, that's fine too. I'm going to line it up more or less the same over here. Now, if I go ahead and save real quick, and then preview it again, we can see the information over here is now identical to what we copied, because that's what we did. We copied the information for 33 and put it in 32. Let's say we need different information to go into this particular section. Go back to the Edit Layout, scroll on down, and let's take a look at it. Let's say we need the facility information instead of the clinic or business information. First I'm going to select my top box here, and then double click it. We see some code here that's saying it's pulling the business name. I'm going to highlight business, replace it with facil, which is short for facility. So now it'll pull the facility name. Click OK. Do that for the second box. Here we can change clinic to facil. And that particular code does not have an underscore. Last box, a little bit more work. Facil, facil, facil. Take out the information not necessary here. And don't worry that you don't know all of this. We here at Eon will be more than happy to let you know what needs to be put in these boxes or even assist you in editing these layouts if you need to. Once everything looks good, we'll hit OK. Go ahead and save it and give it a preview. Scroll on down, and here we can see that the information is slightly different. Everything else is the same except the name of the facility. So technically we could have left this the same, but in the instance that we ever change the facility information, it'll pull from that section instead of the business and be more accurate. That wraps up how we edit the alignments and different information within the billing forms. Please note that if you're using the electronic form type, such as the eClaim CMS 1500, that also has a layout, but unlike your paper bills, can only be edited with the assistance of an Eon technician. For the most part, those take care of themselves, but every now and then a particular clearinghouse or carrier may require new information or information presented in a different way. If you require any assistance, please call us here at Eon and we'll be more than happy to help you.